Hello, 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 and welcome to Coast Nation Ben TV. I am Belo. I am your host. This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Amakosi Football Club. Oh my God. We are talking about Manqoba Mngqithi today. And as you can see, look at me, look at my face. I just woke up from a 2 hour nap or a 1.5 hour nap because I was tired. I was supposed to just sleep, but then I have to do the live stream, so I woke up. So forgive me if my eyes look a bit, I don't know, red. I just woke up literally like a few minutes ago, so even my voice is a bit deeper because of that fact. So yeah, welcome guys, welcome to the show. As you are joining, please do make sure to like the video so that more people can be reached, right? So yeah, thank you once again guys for joining us. And I think this topic we've been hearing about it, this thing, for the longest time, and I just want to voice my thoughts on the whole thing, and to also hear you guys, Uguti, what do you think about it, because it's going to be important for each Chiefs going forward. And yeah, so excuse me. So I also have a link because a lot of people have been trying to join the channel membership. Link to joining channel membership. So I will pin this link for those of you who've been struggling to join, to become members of the channel. So I will pin this link, and then people can just click and you can go and become a member from that. And I also just want to see how many people will actually think it's a good idea. Do you think adding Manqoba Mngqithi will or would be a good idea? So you need to support your statement as well. Vote on the community, you can vote as well on that, and I want to see what people think. So this is where it's at now. So as we know, Guti, the situation at Sundowns became volatile for whatever reason. I think when our results Sundowns started dipping a bit, then Sundowns had to make a decision. Uguti, do we keep this one coach, which is maybe Mngqithi, maybe Kompela, maybe Rulani? They just had to make a decision. Uguti, what do we do? Because we have a lot of coaches, well, 3. So they decided to demote Mngqithi to being the 3rd, and it seemed like at the time he was 1st. So since then, it's been clear Uguti Urulani has been coaching Sundowns, and our results have also shown they've changed. Sundowns is winning more games. Well, they were winning, but now they are even more convincing, because back at that time they were still drawing some games as well, but now they're just winning through and through. So Mngqithi, i-contract yakhe is coming to an end in June. So, and that talks so good, just like Ujali, who I made a video about earlier on, which you can go check out after this. Uguti Gwayena, Mngqithi, he does not look like he might renew his contract. And if it doesn't renew his contract, that basically means there's a coach available who can assist with Chiefs. Now the question is, would he be, or would he make a good assistant or advisor to Arthur Zwane? Because the thing is here, on one hand, you have Uguti. If you have Mngqithi joining Chiefs as like an assistant or an advisor to Arthur Zwane, then you have a situation where you have someone on the experience who can assist Zwane, right? You have someone who has seen the whole shebang, the whole process of growing a team, because he was assistant Gapito when Pito was building Sundowns as well. So experience of just rebuilding teams and building teams, he knows it, and Guayana experience having coached himself, because I will make my stance clear. Like, I do question Zwane, but I still back him. I will say that people can say whatever, but that's my stance, and that's my stance. I still believe Uguti Zwane is the coach who should take Chiefs forward, and I won't even entertain the idea Uguti an African coach can coach Chiefs, because that's just self-hate, because you're a black person and you're saying black people can't coach Chiefs. If you're making another argument, Yoguti, maybe he's too inexperienced, that's a different argument. But just using the fact that he's from South Africa, that does not qualify as a valid argument in my books. So I will not even be entertaining such comments. So it's one thing if you're coming with the fact that he's inexperienced, which is why I'm saying he's a coach who can coach. It's just that he makes questionable decisions because of his inexperience. So would Mngqithi be a good help for him? The answer is yes and no. As I said, the yes part is the help, the experience. But the no is he's already been in a situation where he was coaching or co-coaching and it did not work, right? Because what I said is that one of the problems that I see personally with this thing of co-coaching is that it's difficult to assign a responsibility to one specific person. And I said this before Sundowns actually did the restructuring, and in that way, they were just putting Rulani out there to say, Rulani is the responsible guy for the team. If anything goes wrong, it's on Rulani, which is exactly what I want to happen if Guguti Mngqithi comes to Chiefs. He comes on to Chiefs and he's solely an advisor to Arthur Zwane, or he's an assistant to Arthur Zwane. The hierarchical structure should be clear. Uguti, it's Zwane, it's Mngqithi, it's Shepherd. Like Uguti, it's Zwane, maybe it's Mngqithi, maybe no. I don't want that. Whoever is brought on, even if it was Dr. Kumalo or whoever, I would be saying it should be clear Uguti, there is a head coach and then there's whoever who's after him. But there is not a situation where it's co-coaching, because I feel like the co-coaching thing makes things complicated, because I feel like at some point the egos of these people will eventually clash. So the last thing I want is my ego or coach or of the man clashing, and as a result you are in a situation where the players now have to pick and choose. Do we side with Zwane, or do we side with Mngqithi, or do we side with Shepherd? It should be clear there's one voice and there's one voice only. And Gwabona, whoever, whether it's Shepherd and Mngqithi or Doctor and whoever, they know, or they should know, Guti, this is the senior coach and we're supporting him. It doesn't matter what, he's the senior coach. So I think it could work, but there should be conditions, strict conditions that are made clear to every party that is involved. But let me know in my comments, Uguti, what you guys think of that. And as I said, you can become a channel member by just clicking the link that I pinned above. That will take you directly into becoming a member, and you can get early access to my videos, and you can also have loyalty badges next to your name when you comment, and you can just also help the channel grow. Becoming a member is only 20 rands, so please do join. Okay, let me read your comments. Umzuyanda says Kosi, Awe Kosi Temba, she's welcome. Kosi Temba, the member. Say, oh, it rhymes. Kosi Temba, the member. Yeah. He says Kosi for life, Kosi energy. I realized that my pitch does not go as high. I was saying Kosi. It doesn't happen. My voice is like And then Unio Molopiana says it won't work. I said, guys, back your point of view. If you say it won't work, it's just like it won't work out there in the air. Explain why. The whole point of this is to get your views and hear you reason and put and explain why you think that way. Ali Pati says, I would like to see Manqoba be head coach and Zwane be assistant so that he can show Zwane the ropes. I still think Zwane can be a decent coach. The Kulipati continues to say, but the only problem would be the egos might clash if Manqoba is made head and Zwane demoted to assistant. I was actually about to say the exact same thing before I read your second comment, because it would be clear, like it's a demotion, right? It would just be clear Zwane has been demoted and Manqoba is now the head coach. And I think in a bit, because how old is Manqoba Mngqithi? I think I checked, he's 50, is it 50 something? Yeah, he's 51. He's actually younger than Zwane. Yeah, he's actually younger than Zwane. So you have a situation where Arthur Zwane, no, he's 49, Zwane, yeah. Why did I say that? Yeah. So Manqoba Mngqithi is 51 and Arthur Zwane is 49. So if Zwane takes over from, if Mngqithi takes over from Zwane, it's not like we're saying experienced coach preparing the younger coach, because Mngqithi is like, I can take this job and actually coach Kaizer Chiefs myself. So why is it like I'm paving the way for Zwane? Because at the end of the day, Mngqithi has been with Sundowns for a while now, and if he was to come to Chiefs, then he doesn't want to come there and pave the way for Zwane, who's eventually gonna take over. He will want to be the main guy, not like Zwane's way maker or preparer of the way. He doesn't want to be Zwane's John Baptist to Jesus. He doesn't want to prepare the way, right? No, ufuna ukuba elozayo yena. And it makes sense, right? Because you feel like, as Manqoba Mngqithi, and what he has done in South African football, he does want to be respected. It's only reasonable ukuthi people put some respect on his name, right? So I think for him, it wouldn't be acceptable for Chiefs to say, you are preparing a way for Zwane. So I think vele kuzoba naleyo nto leyo ukuthi he will become the thing. He will want to become the head coach, and the head coach for a long time, not like just a placeholder for Zwane. Muki Mukhali says, Ola Kosi for life, Awe Kosi. And then okay, then Unio says the dressing room is so important and it would ruin the atmosphere that management is trying to create at Chiefs. Yeah, but how would that ruin a dressing room? I get you. There is a situation or there is a reality where this could actually ruin the atmosphere. But the thing is, if the team continues to lose and if the team continues to get in situations whereby Zwane makes a decision like on the 60th minute that is questioned by the players, that very eventually the atmosphere will get ruined because players will start thinking, I don't guys, let I show. But if these coaches are working together to get the best out of the players, then I think it actually does the opposite. Instead of like, I don't guys and irons out, but they're now going to listen to the coaches who are coming to them like with the same solid plan, which is this is what we're trying to do. Coach Arthur and I, guys, let's listen to Coach Manqoba or whatever that they're doing, because I have seen Uguti. I think it's us fans that just think these coaches don't respect each other, because I've seen Zwane singing praises for even Urulani, and I remember even people criticizing Zwane Uguti. He was hugging with Urulani, and it's the nonsense that we hear on the internet. But basically they were saying, oh, they are rivals and they shouldn't be doing that. I'm like, these things are ridiculous when people say them. But indaba yami sekutheni, they do have a healthy respect for each other. It's just that now, is that healthy respect only because one is coaching over there and the other one's coaching over there? So he's minding his business, I'm minding my business. If now we take your business and my business, we put it together, then it becomes a problem. So in that case, I would agree with you, Ananeo. But if that's not the case, then that's a completely different story. Theo says, away, Theo, and you're typing my name with a small letter M. I'm gonna cry. Muki says, I actually support nothing from Sundowns. What does that mean? Because if he leaves Sundowns, it's just like a free agent. It's no longer a Sundowns coach. And then Kevin Gomane says, a big no for me. Zolo Loku, we were advocating against Sundowns reject, and today we are singing a high tenor. He was demoted for a reason. There at okay, I get you. No, you're making a valid point. You're making a valid point, because I literally just made a video about Uchali, which you should check, why Uchali shouldn't sign for the Chiefs. And there's another reason that has to do with Dr. Kumalo, but I was talking about why Uchali, and one of the reasons, just a snippet to that video, is Nkatele Chiefs getting people or rejects from Sundowns, because it's like people on their prime, they're at Sundowns, and then when they drop off, they come to Chiefs. So I think when you're applying that same logic, Uguti, if we can't take reject players, then we can't take sort of reject coaches, because obviously, as you are saying, there is a reason why he was demoted. To which I would respond, yes, it is a valid point. I won't dismiss your point. There is a reason why he was demoted. But at the same time, I will say, Uguti, as much as there is a reason why he was demoted, there is also a reason why Upitso Msimane got him as an advisor, got him as an assistant coach. So it's like it cuts both ways, Uguti. On one hand, you have Uguti at Sundowns, it ended up not working for whatever reason. One obvious one that we saw, Ugutama results were no longer coming. But the other could be Uguti, this whole mix masala, coach, manager, coach, whatever mix that Sundowns had, was just the dynamic was not working well, and we don't know how the prides clashed, because sometimes you want to have a decision maker solely because you know if these people are busy talking one over the other, then there are clashes. So if you have one voice that is the final voice, then it's different, and that's the voice. So that's what I'm saying, Uguti. Your argument is valid, but also don't dismiss the fact that we should also not dismiss the fact that Kwayenu Pitso, he thought Manqoba would be great help to him, and so he proved to be. Yeah. And then the next one is Member Temba. Yeah, it rhymes. Member Temba says, as long as Kaizer Chiefs management is not willing to spend in buying good quality players, no coach that will make any impact. Yo, it deep, remember, it deep, Member Temba, it deep too much, because you are right, like, because we can get anyone really at this point. We can get anyone at this point, and it just might not make a difference with the poor quality players that we seem to have, because at the end of the day, players can get all the tactics, players can get whatever, but if they're just not able to do what they're supposed to do, then you're gonna have a problem. Like, my heart last night was broken, like, into pieces. Yes. I have come to accept that Liverpool is just, or Real Madrid is what Bayern Munich is to Barcelona, right? Like, no matter how many times Barcelona plays with Bayern will always win. And it seems like that's the case with Liverpool and Madrid. But coming back to the topic, Liverpool starts, they're on fire, but since they don't have legs, the dynamic is just lacking. They let go of Gini Wijnaldum. I know a lot of people are saying, man. But if you look, the problems with Liverpool is that the legs are no longer there in midfield. To a point, they are now playing with Stefan Bajcetic in that midfield, because the senior players are not performing in that midfield. And now there's this transition period, and it's not good enough. If you're looking at how Klopp is performing, there are people who are saying Klopp out, which is ridiculous. And it proves what sometimes fans just like saying out. Matatu coach who has won things for you like this, and then you just say Klopp out. So in the Klopp comes with these techniques that work. Like, they worked. Liverpool pressing, scoring 2 goals early on in the game, but then they just crumbled for the rest of the game, because of the fact that the players that were there, as much as they are of some certain quality, there's just even a higher quality with the Real Madrid, and that's why they won. Because you can say whatever you want. Yes, Carlo Ancelotti is a good coach, but don't forget the fact that those players, Real Madrid, they know how to win, and because they are proven winners, they know how to win. Even not just Kroos nor Modric, because this extends beyond the age of the players in that team. Because if you look at Rodrigo last season, they're the ones who are winning matches on last minute, or Vinicius, who are winning Champions League against Liverpool. These are young players, but they come into a team that knows ukuthi Champions League into it, will win it. Doesn't matter who we're playing against, we will win it. Doesn't matter if we're 2-0 down with 10 minutes to go, we will win it. It's the mentality of the players. That's why it goes beyond to how good they are. It goes beyond to how experienced they are. It's also just about the mentality. We are Real Madrid and we win the Champions League. And I just had to admit that to myself. You know what? Real Madrid is just too good for Liverpool. The mentality Real Madrid is just on another level, especially good Champions League. Maybe La Liga, we can discuss some other things about which league is more competitive. But when it comes to the team that is the best in the world, when it comes to Champions League, I just say Real Madrid does that job, because you don't just go to Anfield and whoop Liverpool 5-2. Even in their poor season, I know they've lost with bad scores to Abo Wolves, to a point ukuthi lentens why Wolves ukuthi Liverpool were playing against Wolves at Molineux, and Wolves were passing the ball around to a point that the fans were singing ole ole ole. Imagine doing that at Anfield. Madrid did that at Anfield, and teams have started doing that against Liverpool. They just pass the ball around, because you don't have good enough players. And if you're competing against the big teams, then you're going to have the quality like Abu Jude Bellingham. You're gonna have to buy or Amrabat players who are going to be good enough to the team. Same thing with the Chiefs. It's going to need another or more quality players, and not just good players but also mentality monster type of players. Yeah. And let's say it's Ghost in a Shane, and then he's saying Temba, welcome to the family, new member. Yeah, actually Temba joined like last week as well, so yeah, shout out to you, Temba. And then Usbu says, I personally think it's a good idea. Manqoba is a good coach. They have to make him a co-coach. It can work. And I guess no Charlie, we need him for experience. I've made my thing is no Charlie clear shame. And yeah, my argument is on that other video. But mina co-coach. I am really scared of co-coach. It removes the accountability from one person. We know Chiefs is not performing okay. Someone is messing up. Zwane, sit down with the management. How is the team underperforming? Let's fire you. Or Mngqithi, team is underperforming. So co-coaching removes this pinpointing of who's responsible. So that's why I don't like the system of co-coaching. And then Mpo Time says Amakosa Mash Awe. And then Umuki says Arthur Zwane must just get good materials to make his work easier. Kaizer Chiefs' problem is not coaching as such. Management. Yabonga Muk. Because here's the thing. People want us to believe with the only problem that Chiefs has is coaching. And I'm done having that, right? I'm done having that. I will admit, I will sit here every day. Literally, I will just keep on saying this until Zwane gets it or until Zwane gets fired. It doesn't matter. I will say this. There are questionable decisions by Zwane. He does show inexperience at times, but I don't think he's the only problem. And I think by helping him with the other things, he will help him as a coach in general. Oh my God. Yeah, so management needs to really do much better, because I was looking on Twitter. I asked, because I saw a post about Man United sending 8 video analysts to Camp Nou when they were playing against Barcelona. And then I just asked Uguti, I wonder how many video analysts each Chiefs has, because then those ideas would be flowing and it would be easy to make informed decisions. Because if someone's gonna tell me Uguti Chiefs is always making informed decisions, I don't think that is true. I think we need more on that in the technical team to be better. And then Usiada Star says, I don't think Manqoba will add value. Pizzo left him with a good team and good players. Chiefs just need hungry players who will fight for the team. Zwane should stop playing Matt and Dolly. That's the song that we've been singing. But Onasia, do you not think then, okay, fine, since we're already on this topic, if not Manqoba, then who? If Manqoba Mngqithi, who? I will just throw it out there for the sake of it, Uguti. If we don't get Manqoba Mngqithi will be available in June, then who should Chiefs actually sign? And I agree, Matt Notoli should just get a bench. Mlungisi says, no, even if Chiefs brings Pep Guardiola as head coach and Jurgen Klopp as assistant, oh my God, imagine that combo. It won't work because the management isn't willing to sign quality players. It's always average free agents. Bruh. The truth that you are saying there, because even one thing that people always seem to forget about Klopp this season is struggling because he's not being paid. financially with the players that he needs. Yeah, people will say, oh, but he got Nunes. But remember, it's Nunes' first season, and you can't expect him to reach Mane's levels in the first season. You can't expect him. Wijnaldum was never replaced. Thiago was a different kind of player. You have Klopp, Guardiola, who can just spend money on Laporte. Then the following season, he will also sign Ruben Diaz. And then the following season, he will sign Akanji. Like all these defenders for like 40 million, 60 million. So all Pep, they're on top, but they're signing expensive players. You have Madrid, like look at the squads in Madrid. They signed above Vinicius at like 16 for 40 million. They signed Rodrigo for this like 60 million. Yabo, at that age, they spend money. Right now, they just signed the other kid for this almost the same amount of money. At 16, we have Ochouameni being signed. You have, basically, they signed these players for big money, and then you see these players, these teams also getting quality coaches, but they also back them with proper recruitment. They don't just say, oh, you are a good coach, so go coach. People also underestimate the fact that these great coaches also use big players as well, or quality players. And then says the star says the only thing Matt did for all the game time he's getting is scored against Pirates. And funny enough, you remember Guti, the criticism towards Matt was growing value towards before the game against Pirates. And then after he scored that goal, we just backed off a bit because we're like, oh, maybe he has turned the corner. So then he became complacent again. Kosibala says, let me drink some water. Says Manqoba won't be bad, but he won't solve the issue of quality. He will just bring Sundown's experience, which is nothing without quality players. Well said, cause Umpo Key Time says, is it a done deal, Vele? Nope. It's a way of getting people to watch a video without lying. It's because we're talking about Manqoba Mngqithi to Chiefs. Otherwise, you wouldn't have 85 viewers right now. But it's not clickbait, because clickbait is if I write something on the title and I don't talk about it. But we are talking about Manqoba Mngqithi to Kaizer Chiefs. So no, it's not a done deal yet, but it's something that's on the cards, because I'm pretty sure that I see something here. Where is this thing? Where is it? Yeah, it's gone. It's something that's on the cards, because when Kaizer Chiefs Jr. was speaking, he said something like, oh, it's all about us making the right decisions. But what are the right decisions? What decisions? What does it even mean? After saying they are completely behind the coach, which basically means there are other decisions that will keep the coach, but they should be right to make sure that the coach stays. So my other assumption is that reinforcing his technical team, basically. Guys, please do become the member of the channel simply by clicking the link that is pinned. Link to joining channel membership. It's only 20 rands per month, guys. You'll be helping me. I told everyone when the video began, Uguti, I just woke up from sleep. As you can see my eyes, but I had to wake up because of the fact that these videos need to be made every day. And then Ampeg Security says, even though it would work for the team, but on the other side, it will create tension in the technical team. There will be no unity. Players will be manipulated, trust me. And that's the problem, Veluguti. There is just that issue, Yoguti. You might just have a situation where these coaches clash, and it might then create more problems than it solves. So then it's a tricky situation. It's a tricky situation, mainly because he's an experienced coach who we're saying should come and play second fiddle to Zwane. And it's up to him. Does he want to take that? Does he actually just want to say Mazulu, because Amazulu, this is what they've also done. They've just gone out and said, you know what, we're extending a contract length for Hloza, which I think is somewhat ridiculous, because if they're monitoring things properly, maybe Hloza will do good, but he just doesn't win Gwayen. But they've just extended his contract by 3 years in the midst of all his struggles, which I think they should have just waited it out. If Amazulu really want to be a big team, they should have just waited it out and then waited for a situation Mngqithi and then signed Mngqithi, so that they give Mngqithi a team that is like, we have a vision, we are trying to get a team from where we are into competing against Abo Chiefs, Pirates and Sundowns, or Sundowns. So now help us get there. So now, with Amazulu being out of the picture, then which team does Manqoba Mngqithi go to and manage? Because if you look around, Mngqithi is not now going to play for a team that's fighting relegation. With all due respect to his Swallows, Mngqithi is not going to coach his Swallows. He's not, because they are not at the level where he wants to be. Teams that can get to Mngqithi would be like Royal AM, because they are trying to compete in that sense, or with the big boys. But now they just brought back Umatuga and they seem a bit unstable, so you wouldn't trust going there. You wouldn't trust your future there, because they fired Umatuga out of nowhere. So then you have Cape Town City, which has Utinkla, so that's gone as well. And then you have the Pirates. It seems like they are trying to back the current coach, Jose Rivero, I think it's Jose Rivero, his name. So then that leaves the Chiefs, a team where Mngqithi can say, I can compete in Africa, because just like what I've been saying about Upitso, for people who have been saying, Upitso should come back and manage the Chiefs, I don't think Upitso would even agree to that without solid backing and proof of Uguti. Okay, I want this player, and this player, and this player, and this player, and you're gonna give me those players. I want technical whatever. I want this. Upitso is at the level where he goes to a team, or a team comes to him, and then he says, I want this. Give me that or no deal. He's in that position, and I don't think Chiefs can offer that to Upitso, which is why I think people can say, Upitso, but it's not gonna happen. He's like above Chiefs manje, like he's just way beyond South African football, because now he's coached abroad, and that makes him a very difficult person to acquire. Not difficult as in hard-headed, no. Difficult as in his level's higher than Chiefs at this level. And if you want to get offended, whatever, Upitso is coaching in Saudi Arabia, he's coached in Al-Ali, and so there's that, there's levels. Umanda says, personally I think Doctor would be the best. Who better than the person who only knows winning Chiefs? Even as an assistant he was winning. I think Mina I'm saying this, this is my stance, Uguti. If there's gonna be a plan, Yoguti, there's gonna be a guarantee of how or who's going to be the main coach, I don't mind. But the main coach, as it seems, should still be Zwane to maintain a peace. But a good doctor, if he doesn't mind to come and be second and be an assistant, it also is good, because Kwaena, he knows winning, he knows the Chiefs, he knows the culture of Chiefs, so it would add something. And then King Joe says, hit the like button, gents, helps the channel. Yes, thank you, King Joe. King and Joe, hit the like button, please hit the like button. And then the next comment is Umasakan. He says he can be the right man, only he can be backed by management. Exactly. That's what we need. And then okay. You know what's fun is that I underestimate the number of comments at times, and then when I scroll down, I realize, good, oh wait, there are a lot of comments. Continue, get your comments below. Dominic says, Sean Pilo, to have him as a second assistant or advisor might be a solution when it comes to starting 11, as well as the right substitution at the right time. Yeah, because you see, Ilento that we're always saying, or that I'm always saying, you can see where Zwane wants to go. The problem is just that second half he just loses it, and having someone to help him with that will help. Ali Pati says, did you enjoy the Liverpool versus Madrid game? It was sad, bruh. Like I didn't realize it really hit me to a point. If your team loses like that, because we can say Liverpool is bad now, but the thing is, Liverpool lost. We finally Champions League 3-1 4 years ago, and we said, oh no, Salah got injured, Karius made mistakes, but then again they met in the Champions League 2 years later, where they lost 3-1, and then you would say, oh, Van Dijk, Gomez, Matip, all our good players, our defenders were injured. But then they lost again. We finally Champions League last season. What's the excuse? The excuse would be, oh, they lost because they were tired. They'd been playing a long time, blah, blah. No. Madrid is just on another level, and I had to admit that to myself. And it's painful because I don't like Madrid. But they're just a level higher than Liverpool. A few levels higher, in fact, because, yeah, they're just Madrid. Good Champions League, you just can't touch them. Yeah, but if a team, because there are a few things that are kind of guaranteed or that are known by Champions League, is that Madrid are royalty when it comes to that. But there's also just this thing, you don't go to Anfield and do that in a Champions League night. It's rare. Atletico Madrid did it, but it just doesn't happen. You go to Camp Nou, we saw, not Camp Nou, Bernabeu, and Man City went there 1-1 when they ended up eliminating Madrid a few years back. But we see people going, or teams going to Bernabeu and winning, against Madrid. But you don't see teams on a Champions League night going to destroy Liverpool. That's where Liverpool destroys teams. But Real Madrid came and destroyed Liverpool at Anfield. I was shocked. Like, even now, I'm just coming to terms with it. They toyed with Liverpool at Anfield. It was like, yeah, painful. Masakane says, that stingy and greedy management of Chiefs. Dennis Cylinder says, those who say he won't bring change, who is holding position 2 on the log, and he has the quality players, or they just motivated. We need someone who will motivate our players. I think you are referring to Guti. He will bring a change because of how good he is as a coach as well. And I do think experience does count, especially for the coaches, because they've seen it, right? They've seen a lot of things. With a coach, it's different, because now I'm going to sound like I'm a hypocrite, because I'm saying for players, sometimes it's overrated. For coaches, not so much. For coaches, they've seen these things unfold in front of their eyes over and over again. For players, even if they've seen it unfold in front of their eyes over and over again, but sometimes they can't do anything about it, because maybe you're playing against a team that's too quick, so you can't deal with the pace. You're playing against a team that's too skilled. You can't deal with their technical abilities. Like Vinicius gets the ball, net. Gomez should have done better though. But there's that good, you are dealing with too much quality and you can't do better. But with coaches, they just know, okay, I know these players are weak. Let's just defend and hit them on a counter. Now that's the problem. Each of us might actually get forced to going to that direction, but defend. Because sometimes you see Real Madrid, they are like that team that has Benzema, that has Valverde, no Vinicius up front. Izolo it was Rodrigo, Benzema, and Vinicius. But they at times they just defend. They just sit deep and defend. But Cruz gets one ball, he plays it to Vinicius, you are dead. That's like the biggest team in the world. And then there are these nonsense people who will say big teams don't play account. Madrid has 14 Champions Leagues and they play account. If they see Ugutu are playing against Man City, who are going to have more position than us, so we'll just hit them on a counter. And that's what they do. They hit you on a counter and then you are done. That's what Madrid does at times. So it comes down to the players being humble enough and the coaches who coach being humble enough to say, okay, fine. They can have all the position. Mourinho even said they can have the position. They can even take the ball with them if they want. But we are winning the game. So I think that's where Manqoba will help as well, because he's seen this thing play over and over again. Good, okay, beza ngale ngqondo, but we're going to do this. And then Theo says, Mina Mpilo, I would like to see Manqoba and Khumalo because I don't want foreign coaches at Chiefs. I hope you are not being xenophobic or racist. But I think at some point, people should just admit, you can peg Vele, the technical team, with Manqoba, with the doctor, as long as there's a healthy respect between them. It's just that how can we guarantee Uguti there is a certain level of respect, because with people are just evil in nature, right? So it's hard to say, oh, just bring Manqoba, bring a doctor, these guys will work together and everything will be fine. You can't guarantee that. So that's the unfortunate thing. Uguti, as much as they would be a good idea together, the biggest question is always Uguti, can they coexist, I guess, more than Uguti, can they help each other? Because initially, if Zwane is the highest paid coach in South African football, Manqoba will come in and probably earn just less than him, but that's still a lot of money, because there are rumors Zwane that he's getting, and it's a lot of money. So if then Mngqithi even gets 80% or 60% of what Zwane is getting, then that's attractive for starters. Like nangu 300k Manqoba Mngqithi is like, oh my god, that's a lot of money. Supporting my family with this money, so let's just find a way of working together because this is good money. And there's also the thing in him, if Sundowns doesn't renew his contract, then he will probably have a revenge. He will be on a revenge mission, which could be good or bad, because it could be good in terms of he will want to help Chiefs as much as he can because he wants to prove Sundowns made a mistake firing him. But then it could be dangerous. He could be too desperate to get Chiefs to beat Sundowns, which could be problematic. Which was the thing though with Upito. Upito has always loved the Chiefs. And when he was at Sundowns, at times it seemed like was trying too much to even talk about the Chiefs when they were not even competing in the Sundowns. Like the Chiefs was just there, number 5, like we are right now, and Sundowns was number 1. And he would just find a way of mentioning the Chiefs because there was this obsession with the Chiefs, because at the same time he wanted to win and reach the level of the Chiefs. And then it ended up seeming like it's a bad obsession, but it helped a bit. So look at where he is now. It pushed him, because some rivalries push you, like Ronaldo and Messi. There's still an argument, and I still maintain my own thing, Uguti. Personally, I feel like without Messi, Ronaldo does not get anywhere near the level he gets in. Ronaldo, Messi being there pushes Ronaldo to being mentioned alongside Messi. But Ronaldo as a player, he's very good, one of the greats. But level yakhe ayikho kweka Messi. But Messi pushed him, and Ronaldo pushed Ronaldo to Messi to be better. And at the end of the day, the reality is they ended up appearing like this, as if it's like just a bit. Ronaldo this year, Messi this year, Ronaldo, but by default it's Messi, Ronaldo, and then Ronaldo closed the gap, and then it ended up being like that. But ultimately, it's about competition sometimes, or being motivated by something else can also be helpful to a person. And then Moti Reddy says at least Chiefs would law Eric Tinkler with Roger Disa if they can avail themselves. As for Coach Zwane, he should demote himself to the MDC team rather than waiting for the sacking. I think Eric Tinkler or Roger Disa, they wouldn't survive at Chiefs, because those coaches, they just speak their mind. And Chiefs, I don't think, wants to get a coach who can publicly speak against them. That's why they want to have like some sort of a control in the narrative, because they're a brand, and we've seen Uti Chiefs is desperate in controlling the narrative or the story of what is happening in the team. And by putting Zwane there, in a way, don't want to call him a puppet, but it's easy for them to have some control over him, because he's like a club legend. They've done so much for him, and it seems like, oh yeah, I can't betray them, I can't speak against them in the media, because they're a brand and they're trying to always control appearances. Optics are very important to Chiefs. And then Mkhoksi says, don't sack Zwane, just strengthen the technical team. So I think Manqoba will be okay. And then he says, as an assistant, Mina, I don't think I like this co-coaching idea. I agree with you, bro. Like, let's just have an assistant. Let's just have a clearly defined hierarchy in the technical team. Elizabeth says, evening Kosi, I'm so happy today to have an opportunity to watch the show. Hello, Elizabeth. I last time I said to someone they were a lady, and I only found out they were a guy. But Kosi Elizabeth, welcome to the show. I'm glad you joined us today. Semaki says, I think Doctor is the best person to coach Chiefs. Yabo indaba ka-Doctor, I think nayo it deserves a video on its own, because I don't know why he's been so distant to Chiefs in recent years. So that's why, as I'm saying, I think it deserves a session of its own. And then Usnatemba says, Chiefs need Mngqithi more than Mngqithi needs the job. Chiefs have a lot to benefit from his well of experience. Snatemba, I hear you, which raises a question in my brain. Which, if Chiefs needs him more than he needs Chiefs, doesn't then that changes the conversation, negotiations? He will say, I want to be the coach. And then all of a sudden, it's a different discussion. Yeah, but I don't know, Uguti. Do you think that changes the conversations, Natemba, in terms of, oh wait, I want to be the coach? Does that actually change the conversation and give or grant more power to Mngqithi if he's the one who's needed more than he needs? And then Elizabeth. Sipiwe says, I still think Gavin Hunt was the best. Simpiwe, with all due respect, Hunt was playing helicopter football, and I think we have established that we are trying to move away from that kind of football, because it frustrated us as fans. Like, you just get annoyed. You are waiting the entire game. Oh, can it just bounce off someone from all these crosses, Yeah, with experience, with knowing that at some point it will win you games. Yeah, but with where Chiefs is trying to go, nah. It's like what happened with the Barcelona when they hired, I forgot his name now, but a defensive coach in a team that wants to play attractive football will never work. Aufani says, Manqoba and Doc should come on in. Unfortunately, Zwane was given everything, yet at times simply made nonsensical decisions. So his lack of experience exposed him. I agree in that lack of experience I'm exposed, but I wouldn't say I was given everything, because the fact that we're sitting here talking about him getting assistant coaches says a lot about how much he was actually given. Because you have Upito has a technical team, his own like squad that he knows these are my people. Coaches all over the world just have people. They have people who always go with them wherever they go. Their own analysts, their own player, whatever. But they have analysts, assistant coaches in a team. So when you sign that coach, you sign him with his team. So I think that's the case. Opet says, I think he's a good coach as well. I think he's a good coach as well as Manqoba Mngqithi. Yeah, he's a good coach, Mngqithi. We that cannot be written off. Ufani says a foreign coach with current Chiefs squad could have really challenged for the league. But guys, Mina, I don't get this. Yabo, if you come here and say Ensmintendorp, not Ensmintendorp, if you say Musin Edukral would come to Chiefs and do wonders, it's a discussion. Or if you say, you know what, there is a coach in Azerbaijan who's doing wonders with a certain team, his name is Slavik Vrahamovic, right? It's someone, there is a name to the face. It's not just he's a foreign coach as such, he would do something. So what makes them qualify for the job is because they're foreign coaches. How is that different from saying a white person can do the job better just because they are white? That's basically what we're saying. We're saying it doesn't matter where they are coaching, it doesn't matter how good they are, it doesn't matter. It's exactly what AmaZulu are doing right now. AmaZulu are absolutely pissing. Like Ufohloza is not doing anything. They signed Ufohloza from ETS Galaxy. He didn't do it. Yeah, ETS Galaxy, I think. Yeah. He didn't do anything. But just because he's a foreign coach, all of a sudden he deserves a job at AmaZulu. But there is nothing that guy has done. Nothing significant that he has done. But since he's a foreign coach, he gets that because he has a European passport. That's just self-hate as black people. And I'm ashamed sometimes when I hear such things. If you give me a name of a coach, it's a different story. But if you just say a foreign coach, I don't get it. And then Tebogo says, Matt can't be benched. Never. He's our best CM right now. We are watching different Chiefs because I see a different Matt that I've defended, but he just doesn't show to be our best CM. I would have Arthur Zwane ahead of Umat any day of the week. And then Ufani says, I don't buy the issue of lack of quality. So you are telling me, Uguti, my God, you are telling me Uguti Caleb can play in a Sundowns team? Because if we are saying our players are quality, that means they can go and compete on a Sundowns team. And I'm not talking for Sundowns. I'm just saying they're the best team in South Africa right now. And if you say we have the best players, then they should be able to play with Pirates. If we put a combined 11 between the Chiefs and Pirates, then, just gave me an idea. I need to make a combined 11 for that game. Yeah. I think my members so vote on the membership group and vote for the best 11, for the combined 11. Utsosang Mokone says Zwane must just go. Dr. Kumalo can be a good candidate to coach Chiefs, but Guayano Doctor hasn't coached anywhere. Kumbule loko. He doesn't have any experience coaching Guyana, coaching a senior team. So yeah. And then Ulipati says, let's get to 50 likes, guys. Yes, I've been streaming for an hour, only 43 likes. Come on, we only a few seconds. Even if we get the other 7 likes before 1 hour 5 minutes, 43 likes. Thank you for those who have liked the video, by the way. Avela says, hi Mpilo, I do not know about bringing in Manqoba and still not buy quality players, yet believe there is magic he can do. All big teams are known as big spenders, but just not Chiefs for the why. Good question. And I feel like most people who are just saying Mangete out are neglecting the fact that Chiefs also doesn't have quality. They just say go hump, nothing else. Yes, guys, look at you. Wow, you actually did it. Oh my god, we just reached 50 likes. I appreciate that because we're targeting. Thank you. We've reached 50 likes. At this point, I am sure we can even reach 100 likes because you see, anyways, and then Chiefs doesn't spend. The fact that we're almost as outspent by Sekhukhune tells you a lot. Like for who's this guy? Tutuzi Mdantsane, because Chiefs wanted him, and Eric Tinkler says, what? He said that Sekhukhune were in the picture and Chiefs ended up backing off, and that probably has to do with the fact that they didn't want to get into a bidding war with Sekhukhune. But if you can be outbid by Sekhukhune, guys, that says a lot about you. And it just says a lot about you. And then they don't want to spend money. Monoabisi says Manqoba won't suit Kaizer Chiefs style. Njani, because he plays the same system and understand. And then Tosang says Manqoba can assist Doctor. If we were to remove Zwane, I wouldn't want a Kaizer Chiefs club legend to then lead the team, especially now Doctor, because it would just tarnish his reputation. Because Kwayen, I feel like he doesn't have experience. Can say that about Zwane, but we can also say that about Doctor. He doesn't have experience coaching a first team, unless I'm not aware of something, but I don't remember Doctor having the experience as the senior team coach. So that's my thing. And then Umpo left. He said network was showing him flames, so good night, is gone. And then Umpelo says get rid of Zwane first. Alex says I think Manqoba can help. Umpelo says with the players Chiefs have, we should be beating Cheaper and the likes of Arrows convincingly. Nyagos. But you also have to look at those games and look at the quality chances that those players that you are talking about missed. So there's just that element as well too. Guti labo badlali kwi Arrows, look at the chances that we missed. Look at those chances and tell me what it's just down to the coach. And then Diane says only foreign coaches can I did say good. I will just not entertain those comments, because if you're not gonna say the name of the coach, you can't just say only foreign. Just give me the name. But saying only foreign coaches is just. Mandla says have a good one. Mpo. Elizabeth says let's help Chiefs with the money coordination. If the problem is really money, maybe they can afford to play. Maybe we can start celebrating like others. And I will say this, even if we started giving the Chiefs some money, we will still not get good enough players, because I've said this many times. Chiefs, I think, is broke. There is a possibility that they are not broke. But either way, if they are not broke, then they won't accept Imali from the fans, because that would basically means they'll have to sell a stake of ownership to the Chiefs fans, which I think would be good. That is why Bayern was not even involved. If what's this thing? My God, what just happened to my brain? Yes, Bayern Munich. Remember when there was European Super League? Bayern Munich were not involved in that Super League because I think it's 51%. Let me confirm and not talk nonsense. But AMA fans actually literally own Ilokunja, own the club. So the club does not spend ridiculous amount of money, or not ridiculous amount of money, does not make crazy decisions or stupid decisions that are not at the best interest of the team, because they know the fans, how much percentage of Bayern is owned by fans. Ngifuna ukwenza sure ukuthi I'm talking into correct here, fact checking myself. The other three partners, Audi, blah 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 blah. Yeah, do fans own 51% of German clubs? But basically, in essence, it means while commercial investors can purchase shares of a given club, fans control 50% plus one share. You get that? 50% plus one share. That's what happens with Ochemin. So essentially, 51% of the club is owned by the fans to make sure that shenanigans are not pulled in a team in Germany. And that is why they have situations where Bayern, you can rely on they will make the right decisions that have the fans' best interest at heart, because majority shareholders are the fans. But then Upobi has made it clear to us Uguti, it's a family thing, so we can't do anything. And then Utando says Zwane must be relegated to the development. Unati says Olampilo Nation awe. Ubazos says Manqoba is not a good one for Kaizer Chiefs. What he achieved at Sundowns was a collective, and you can literally see that Rulani is the mastermind. But don't forget ukuthi Manqoba was a good coach even before we knew about Rulani. Like Manqoba was a good coach at Arrows and even won them something, I think. He won them an MTN 8 or something. But that was way before we even knew about Urulane. So it's not like he was a bad coach on his own. So that's why I'm saying it's just putting things into context as well, Uguti. It's a possible thing. And then Ustikin Bet says, for the football we want to play, Manqoba is okay. He has to play the same role he's playing, because I don't know Nsegi's impact. We need to be patient with Zwane. Agreed, because 4-3-3 has been his style and Zwane is sort of playing that system. Simba says, hard luck, mister. That was too much for the Reds. Yeah, that 5-2 loss, it got to me shame. But it just made me, Yabo, I was beat. Liverpool was like destroyed into submission, to me submitting with, they're a better team. It's just that thing. And then Wonga says Manqoba is not up to scratch. Okay. By the way, Ronaldo is better than Messi. When did you start watching football if Manqoba is not up to scratch? And then you say that. Anyways, Mtondo Wetusi Media says even John Maduga has his own technical team. When he got fired, he left with them. All now he's back to Royal AM with his team. Yeah, because you want to work with people that understand you. Like, you don't just want to work with people who are just given to you by the management of the team that you are coaching. So, yeah. Then Shorty says, no guys, Manqoba is good, but Zwane will be a problem because he doesn't want a person around him. Uma engamfumananga yena, because kuzobonakala singathi uyazi ukudlula yena. But that's an assumption. As far as we know, Zwane was given Dylan Shepherd by Chiefs, which, by the way, is the same thing that happened with Gavin Hunt, which is the same thing that happened with Stuart Baxter. Baxter was just given Zwane and Shepherd. He didn't choose his technical team. It was just like, here, this is what you have to work with. So it's a situation that you have at Chiefs where you are just given the people to work with. You don't choose them. So it then says to me, we can't just assume it's Zwane who did that, because if it's Zwane who has such a low self-esteem, then the previous 3 coaches have also had a low self-esteem because they've been working literally with the same guys. Dominic says, Mpilo, ake kuthole uBobby esinye isikhundla because it looks like he has a big influence in Kaizer Chiefs management. Uyena esimazi ngokuthanda ama-free agents. Yabona indaba kaBobby, there is something that he made very clear that is supported by how the team is run. When he said it's a family business, that was it. Like, that was a blow that we can never recover from, because it's facts. Team yakubo, and there's nothing that you can say about that, whether you like it or not. It's like, that's just the fact. Bobby team yakubo, and they can move him around. Right now he's called what? He's called a team manager, which literally in Europe means coach of the team, because managers decide who plays. They also decide who gets bought together with the sporting director. So now basically you have Bobby being the team manager, the person who should decide who plays for the Chiefs, deciding with the sporting director. So they talk together and say, oh, that player is good for the Chiefs. But how can Bobby make those decisions? Well, there are some sporting directors who never played football, but they've been around the business long enough. But the sporting director works with the coach. In this case, we have a manager who does not have any footballing experience playing or coaching, and then you have a sporting director who did play football. But basically they just ngathini there because team yakubo. So that's the thing. Obed says, Olakho Simpilo, Olakho Snatemba says, definitely it changes the conversation. There's no way in hell Mngqithi will leave his position at Sundowns to deputize Zwane. He needs to lead the technical team. Zwane Shepherd can be his assistants. Yeah, talking about your comment earlier, Uguti, if Chiefs needs Mngqithi more than Mngqithi needs Chiefs, then it changes the conversation. Which I think Guayana, with him being out of contract, it would also depend on how much demand will be there for him. Because it Chiefs, to try and sway things to their own advantage, they can just wait and watch the system and see what, oh, he doesn't have a job, now let's offer him a job. And since people need money, it might also change the conversation. It just depends on when does Chiefs approach him. If they approach him now, then he has the upper hand. But if they approach him after his contract ends, then they kind of have like similar ground to stand on, because you don't have a job, we don't have an assistant coach. But if I have a job, you don't have an assistant coach, but actually I want to be a coach. So now you have to try and match them. So yeah, a lot of things change. 2 more likes, figure go 60 guys. Usimpiwe says Simpiwe with 50 votes. Sanmonani Kosi awe Sipiwe. And then the next comment is from Short. It says, Mina ngithi guys uManqoba right, but Chiefs ayiwathenga ama players ifuna ama free agents. Most coaches abahambile bahanjiswa kuba i-management ingathenga ama players and iyabona sihlezi siya e-stadium. Right, bruh, like I'm surprised I'm agreeing with you. You are correct, because even when it's funny how we as Chiefs fans do things, because Umindendorp said this, Uguti backing, he has talked about the backing. He has always talked about the lack of backing by management. Hans said the same thing. Baxter talked about being promised stuff and not being given the stuff. So now you have these good quality coaches, or let me just say experienced coaches. I'm not good quality coaches, but you have these proven winners who have experience as well in Hunt and Baxter, yet they are complaining about the same thing, which there is a lack of equality with Chiefs, and then they end up leaving the team, and then the team appoints someone who's less experienced than them, and all of a sudden it's a big deal ukuthi he's struggling to coach, because now they can't afford to sign an experienced coach, because all these experienced coaches know what goes on with Chiefs, but they will still keep on coming to Chiefs because, as Gavin Hunt said, he just needed to pay the bills, so he had to come to Chiefs. But he didn't like Chiefs because he had already heard stories about the Chiefs. So you see, the situation that we find ourselves in is a tricky one. So yeah, and then Umvui said, let Manqoba come, please. Sourceman says, changing coach is not a good idea. We need someone to assist Zwane to improve. The like of Dr. Khumalo, people that can deal with pressure of fans. You're right. And I wouldn't be opposed with Dr. Khumalo being somewhere around the technical team. You just need voices that will help Zwane, people who know the team, who knows the fans. And let's go for 70 likes, guys, at the very least. And the stream says figure like 70 or 75 likes. Let's target 70 for now. So that's what I'm saying, Guti. It wouldn't hurt really to have people who even have played the game, right, and are going to be there. Bazo says, for the fact that Sundowns went for Rulani for head coaches instead of Manqoba, we can see that management of Sundowns sees that Manqoba isn't that good. But the thing is, we don't know the actual story behind the demotion of Manqoba. What if it was just a matter of pride clashing? What if it was a matter of... Because if players have to choose between two coaches, there will be division. Whether the players are choosing this coach or that coach, at the end of the day, there's just a division, and the division is never good in teams. So I don't think it just came down to Manqoba not being good. Because if Manqoba is not good, he wouldn't have taken that Arrows team into winning a cup when he was at Arrows. You get me? So I think there's just that part that we shouldn't ignore. Guti, Manqoba has done certain things. Coach Mngqithi has done certain things for a smaller team with lesser quality. So that's my thing, right? Guti, we can't just dismiss him because he got demoted at Sundowns. Yeah. He won EMTN 8 for Arrows. So that's something. Winning MTN 8 with Arrows is not a small thing. Winning a cup with Arrows is not a small thing. So you have to know what you are doing to win a cup with Arrows. Then Umandla says Hunt didn't choose Zwane, but he chose Shepard. They both came from vets, and Shepard was already Hunt's assistant. Yeah, so he didn't choose Zwane, yet he was given Zwane. So he had to Shepard, but then was like, the management was like, okay, here, take Zwane as well. No, I have Shepard. No, we don't care. Take Zwane. You get me? So there's that thing in which coaches get given stuff at Chiefs. No, Zwane and I was like, okay, so you've worked together under the previous two coaches, take him. Like, no, I don't. Just take him. I'm just trying to reenact what might have happened. And then Ulipati official says at Chiefs, it's as if the management discusses who to buy by themselves, and then Zwane just gets the news on what was decided. I feel as if he might not have an input sometimes. I'm telling you now, like, there are things that don't make sense. The amount of players, or the players that came for my trials, and the amount of players who failed those trials tells you if filtering system for who comes to the trials is really bad. And when does Zwane get the chance to do that? Because usuke business team, it tells you vele ukuthi usuke sekumele athi yini le kuningi nje ukuba ucoach we-Chiefs. I don't think it's the easiest thing with those two guys. Well, mainly Bobby being your senior, because you just get whatever that it gives you. Ustick Bed says, apologies, I forgot to like, enjoying the convo, but thank you for the like and everyone who has liked the video. Usbusiso says, I don't wish Manqoba to come to Chiefs. We won't want a coach that will come with some drama. If Mngqithi comes over, he will have some revenge mentality. I really wish Kaizer Chiefs can hire Nyirende. I don't know Nyirende, I know the name, I don't know where he's coaching. But I did say that could be the problem if he comes with revenge mentality. But it can either drive you into being better, or it can just make you bad. It's just how you use it in the way revenge. Just like hate, can use hate to motivate you into doing something good. Like if you hate poverty, I hate poverty, so I work harder to make sure that I'm never in poverty. So, depends on perspective. But I'm not dismissing your point. I agree with you. That drama could at some point affect the performance if things are not working well, and then people end up being frustrated with how are we not catching up to Sundowns? You are useless, Zwane, or whatever, and then hell breaks loose. Obakeng says Chiefs must fix the management. Chiefs must fix the management. Chiefs had best coaches, so did it work out? Yeah, because management is saying king available, because Nabo coached, we've had good coaches before, we've had experienced coaches before, it still didn't work. Why? No quality players. Who's responsible? The management. Andile says it's not because they saw he was bad, it's because the team of PSL knew their playing style and were able to beat Sundowns. It was just a matter of changing their approach and playing style. And you must remember, even at the time, Sundowns was still top of the league. And remember also, the quality of our league is so horrible. Even while Pitts was here, at times it just won the league in a ridiculous fashion. Like this year is different. Sundowns is just winning. But even during Pitts' time, there were some close calls. And this time around, Sundowns just weren't accepting to even have a close call. Because at times you had a situation where Sundowns was second or third in the league, and then they end up covering or making up that space. This season, even when they had like a few games in hand, they were still like first, just to tell you how bad the team is. And then Umusankosi says, on a serious note, I always watch Chiefs with one eye and the other one waiting to cry, because they know how to disappoint us as fans. I really don't know what to fix and leave what at this point. I would say, when I'm saying, because if we can start with the management, most things can be sorted out with Chiefs. How they make decisions, who makes decisions. That's where it can start. And then DJ Mesh says, when I'm fair to, can you tell us your own opinion on Mngqithi and support why you feel the way you do? By the way, very nice show, big up. Thank you. I hope you have subscribed if you are new to this channel. Okay, so my opinion on Mngqithi is, I'm still processing it, because on one hand, there is a good, yes, good coach. Your comment, by the way, DJ Mesh, just has to do with the next comment, which says, many coaches who aren't good have won cups. Chiefs need Dantens Malisela. Which I will say this when DJ Mesh, I say Mngqithi was not just good with Arrows because he won them the MTN 8, right? But the brand of football that he was playing at Arrows, the positions that he got them in, because to even win MTN 8, you must be with top 8. And remember where Arrows was when Mngqithi was coaching them. They weren't like super flying, but Mngqithi, with his brand of football, he got them up to that level where they were in top 8. So that means a good season before that, and then after that he wins them MTN 8, and then after that he has a good season in any case. So basically that means he's a good coach. That's given. So given ukuthi is a good coach, given ukuthi he plays a system 4-3-3, which allows basically the team to have the ball, which is what Chiefs wants to do, he would be a good option to have in addition to Zwane. My issue is that the problem might be ukuthi, what if, because he's used to winning and Zwane is still acting sometimes inexperienced, what if because of the lack of experience Zwane, they end up clashing? So then you have a drama. So you have this thing that was such a good situation, but then it ends up not happening quite well because of ukuthi lo muntu usenamanye expectations, and yet the team is still here, or the person leading the team is still here. Good example, take Cristiano Ronaldo for example. You have Erik ten Hag, who has clearly changed Man United. I hate United, but the truth of the matter is they are flying right now. They are performing week in, week out. They're performing even against Barcelona. But Ronaldo clashed with Erik ten Hag and said Ten Hag doesn't respect him. But Ten Hag is playing a system that requires everyone to track back, everyone to mark, everyone to work harder. And each team has done better since Ronaldo left. But Ronaldo coming to Madrid, United team like, oh, you get a great idea, he's a goal scorer. But the thing is, he's a great goal scorer, but he's clashing with the system got Ten Hag. So this good thing, Ronaldo, this good thing, Mngqithi, could just clash with something else. Yoguti, this team is playing something else or is doing something else. In a Kaizer Chiefs, inexperienced coach. In the case of United, a very experienced coach who's playing a different system to Ronaldo. So that's what I'm saying, Uguti. You just have to look at it, Uguti. It could be a good thing, but the problem is that what if their prides start clashing? What if Mngqithi thinks he deserves to be a coach ahead of Zwane? Then now you have problems. But yeah, that's my thought. Uguti could be a good coach. It's just that you can't guarantee Uguti there will be peace and harmony. Okay, let's check poll results. My results poll so far 207 votes and 72%. Let me just end the poll. 72%. No new comments after the poll. 71% of the people think it would be a good idea to add Mngqithi, and then 28% think it's not a good idea. It's always good to know. It's always good to run these polls and see what people are thinking. And then Msanko says, bring back Dr. Khumalo. Ubafana Ngwenya says, I don't think Mngqithi is a good coach. Why was he relegated to be an assistant coach at Sundowns? There are more things, but go look at his record when he was coaching Arrows, because I think that's more important. How did he even get to Sundowns in the first place? Because if you're going to use Uguti, how did coaches get relegated? You can also use Uguti Rulani failed to coach a Pirates on his own, and yet now he's flying with Sundowns. So, Sticking Pet says it's about time we use the model like Sundowns. If you don't perform, you ship out. We keep players for too long. Guys like Billiard and them should have been offloaded already and relieve a wage bill. Inking Uguti, we also sign these players on long-term contracts. So releasing them will be like a lot of money. So now players should be signed to short-term contracts, which will not happen. Players won't just want to sign short-term contracts. But you should have a system that is like, we're signing you on a 2-year deal with an option to extend. Right, so you have 1 year to prove that you are good enough, because if you don't prove that you are good enough in the first season, then in the second season uhlale benchini. But if you prove that you are good enough, then we extend that option yet, and then you're in a 3-year deal. But I don't think players, when they're being sought after, they want those kind of deals, because they want to be ensured of Uguti they will continue playing as well. Bazo says the Arabs must just come in and buy our team to save us heart attack. They would buy quality in all aspects, every position within the team would have qualified and quality personnel. I think as much as the Chiefs is a big brand, I don't think we're Arab money rich. We're Arab money big. Come on, guys, let's get 3 more likes. Let's get 3 more likes. Let's get 3 more likes before 1 hour 30 minutes. And I don't think Chiefs wants to sell the club either, because I heard the family actually bought back some of the percentages that they had sold. So it shows clearly they want to be clear, like to be, what can I say, to be in control of the club, because this is legacy. If we're being honest, if anyone here is honest in the group chat, you would say each Chiefs actually also want to be in a situation. You would say even you personally, if you started a business, a football club, you would want your kids to continue with your legacy, which is why Chiefs is holding on to the team, as much as we might not like that. Kaizer Chiefs Senior also thought about his own kids and passing it down to his own kids. You build something, you want your kids to have it. Manqoba says Dr. Khumalo is the best analyst that can help Chiefs. Island uyabomlive. Short says, guys, kodwa ingathi siyazidlalela nje thina, because akekho umuntu ongaza kulawula kwibusiness yakho wena. Thina singama customer, Bobby uyi-owner ye-shop, kunzima ukuba i-management kwi-Chiefs ingalungiswa. Exactly. Like, we can say whatever that we want. Ultimately, they have said it's their team. Like, it's family business. Can't say squat. And then Sticking Bed is saying they won't sell, unfortunately. I think it would be our only change to compete with Sundowns, or our only chance to compete with Sundowns in the market. Exactly. We are now compared to load shedding. Ukusta says Gubhlungu Kosi, and Umsahankosi says I won't mention political parties and names in this, but I smell someone in our club. Sosman says, I think the best thing to do is to give Dr. Khumalo a chance. To good assistant coaches, we can go far, but depends whether Zwane refuses. I don't think he would refuse a person like a doctor, because then that would expose him as arrogant. If he has agreed to having Shepherd as his assistants, then why say no to Doctor, who knows more about Chiefs compared to Shepherd? So I think Zwane should just be given the help that he needs, and then you can see Chiefs, definitely they will take a different direction going forward. So guys, thank you once again for joining me. Please, if you haven't watched the video about Andile Jali, go check it on the channel. I will see you tomorrow and on other videos, and until next time, remember, Ikosi Atelumoy and stream. We ended up not getting to 60 likes, to 70. It's okay though.